So I think that when we realize how much Doge money was wasted on DEI programs to destroy health in children, that maybe we could put that money into supplying every American with a check back from the Social Security Administration and a big bottle of C60 EVO organic olive oil for every American adult over 16. As the head of Health and Human Services, I'm proud to announce that America is going to put our money where our mouth is and get you all healthy, wealthy, and wise again.
Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another inspired conversation. We've had our friends here on a number of times, and I just love how these discussions are expanding. I love how more and more people are tuning in when we talk about health and well being and what that truly means. So please welcome with me our dear friends from C60 EVO. Miss Patty Greer, Mr. Chris Burres. It's wonderful to see you both again.
Hello,
Great to be
John. Great to
here.
see you too.
It's a pleasure to have you on. It's an honor to have you on. There's not many times that I get to say miracle molecule, and I always love it because that's what I think of when we all talk. And before we get into the miracle molecule more, yes, the ESS 60. I actually have a surprise question for you too, because I know, Patty, you've been telling us your excitement about the MAHA initiative in America. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is now the uh, HHS secretary. Gave a very, I would say, inspired speech the other day to the entire his new colleagues, if you will. So I have a question for you. If you were tapped to be part of the MAHA Commission, Miss Patty, what would your advice be to the new health secretary, and what would be most important to you in the health field that should go into public policy?
Ooh. I think Bobby's spot on with taking the fluoride out of the water and stopping the chemtrail program. Those are top of my list, and then giving everybody a daily dose of C60 EVO organic olive oil. And we are talking about Doge refunds of our taxes. So I think that when we realize how much Doge money was wasted on DEI programs to destroy health in children, that maybe we could put that money into supplying every American with a check back from the Social Security Administration and a big bottle of C60 EVO organic olive oil for every American adult over 16. As the head of Health and Human Services, I'm proud to announce that America is going to put our money where our mouth is and get you all healthy, wealthy, and wise again.
I don't know. She sounds like Miss Patty Pfizer.
You know what?
Ew,
You know what I?
opposite,
You know what I love?
opposite.
No, no, no. You know what I love about this? I said if you were tapped to be part of the, sort of advisors, but within a minute and a half, she made herself head of Health and Human Services. I
In
love
charge.
that. That's a visionary right there.
Sometimes you just need a woman's perspective,
I
even though
agree.
I am so glad Bobby's doing it. And my amethyst geode right there has his hat on top that came from his office personally, I'm proud to say, because we have sent Bobby C60 EVO 3 times. And it is the good stuff, C60 EVO. Now, I don't have a picture of him taking it on a spoon, but I do have a spoon here for when we're ready to have a toast.
Okay, after first question, I gotta forward this to Chris. Chris, you've been in the health and supplement field. You're a scientist for many, many years, decades at that. Uh, if you were tapped to be an advisor, what would you want to change in the health field? And there's a lot of agencies under Bobby Kennedy Jr., including the FDA. What would be most important to you, and what would you think would benefit all the people?
So I just have one qualifying question, right? So I'm officially some sort of politician in this role, right?
I would say you're an advisor. You're on the board, and Bobby Kennedy Jr. goes, "Okay, Chris, what do you think is important? What should we do in the next 4 years that would benefit the health of the American people?"
So I've got two answers. One answer is if it's really a political role and that's how I got here, then this is exactly what I want everyone to have, because you've got to return the favors somehow, right? From a political perspective. From, hey, altruistic, we want to improve health. I've had so many conversations with people. There is this understanding, I think, when we go and visit a physician, that those physicians are working on the root cause. I had a conversation with an ADHD lady the other day, and she was talking about how her 3-year-old son was diagnosed with ADHD, prescribed his first medication at 3. By the time he was 4, they were giving her son the 4th medication. And that's when she was like, all right. And these are forever medications, right? These are things that you're ostensibly going to take for the rest of your life. And I think anytime anyone says this is what's going to happen to you, there's situations where these medications are really important, but you really got to dig deep and understand, like, what changes could you possibly make in your health and your health and for your longevity. So she digs in, and what she ultimately finds is that there's underlying causes of this ADHD that she can solve that don't involve medicine. I love the statement that, if you were just subscribe a statin and because you have high cholesterol, I can promise you that you don't have high cholesterol because of a statin deficiency. Like, that's not the cause of high cholesterol. I'm not saying you should never be on a statin. I'm saying, like, those things make sense. And then you should actually dig in and understand what the changes are. So to help change the medical community's understanding. So our belief is that these physicians are looking at the root cause, and they are not, right? They're not looking for the root cause. They're actually looking for the prescription medication or the procedure that they can do so that they can just get you out the door with, some sort of Band-Aid on top of it. And that absolutely has a role. If you're having a heart attack, it's not the time to change your diet, right? You need to get to the hospital and you need a doctor to help you. And then you probably need to change your diet and your exercise regime, right? So these have a role, but we lean on them as if they are addressing the root cause. And the reality is they're not addressing the root cause. And we, as a society and as a culture, I think any movements we make to clean up our food supply, to hold fast food accountable, are going to have monumental positive impacts on our health, reducing costs, extending life, extending happiness. Like, all of these things are really important. And I would also be doing a lot of research on these devices, and less the device, right? Because the device existed basically like this for a very long time, until we started getting these super aggressive algorithms that are optimized for firing dopamine into our system. Like, I think there's a much bigger risk there than we even realize. And this is in general, I think, hey, keep the government out of stuff, right? This is a situation where the government needs to get involved and understand these things, and provide some guidance to these organizations who, understandably, I believe in capitalism. Their goal is to make as much money as possible. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what actually makes us a viable entity, is the capitalistic nature. But you also have to have some oversights. None of these apps are going to go, hey, we should cut back on this because it's not good for the people. That's never going to happen. That's got to come from outside.
Never say never.
I love that. Thank you for both your answers. I would throw in the mix, just there's a lot to do, and I agree with you, Chris. If I were to identify with everything within our system, with anything, it would probably be libertarian, very much stay out. But I don't identify with any of those boxes. I will say this: if at least traditional and holistic practices could get equal standing in public health to the allopathic system. I'm not saying throw everything out. I'm saying let's get equal standing for all, absolutely verified practices of medicine, traditional, have been around thousands of years. Those need to get into the public awareness and have equal standing. That's what I wanted to share with that. But I think it's time that we refresh our brains and make a toast.
Ooh.
Do you agree?
I
Yes.
agree.
I'm hitting the olive today. Are we
Well,
all
you
olive?
two go strong. I'm going with the MCT today.
Coconut. I started my day with the coconut.
Cheers,
Cheers.
everybody. To what shall we toast to, please, Miss Patty?
The evolution of humanity and the recalibration of all of our lives and thoughts to a higher frequency. And so it is.
And so it is. I love that, Chris.
Mine would be to good sleep.
There you go. Okay, I second both of y'all's. Cheers.
Cheers.
One's awake, one's asleep. But you know what? That's what makes the world go round, is those two, the perfect combination. My word of the week has been recalibration. And
Love the word. Please expand.
it was interesting because I looked it up in the dictionary just before the show, and it talked about when the world has a plan and that plan totally changes, we all need to have to recalibrate, basically to resonate with the new way of being or the new frequency. And I feel like President Trump is moving so quickly, so swiftly, that heads are spinning. But all of a sudden, things are getting so much better that people are sleeping peacefully. And everybody's sleeping more peacefully, except the people that are really furious because their cousin's friend just lost his job, even though he never went into the office, but he was getting really good money. And that's what's happening. Like everybody that I see that's mad, it's like, were they doing an important job that they respected? These people losing jobs. Ultimately, we are in such an evolution of freedom, of all the truth that's been hidden for 100 years. And this is a ballsy group of people. And now President Trump has got all of his nominations in. Kash Patel yesterday was massive. And now, I'm sorry to say, heads are going to roll, but it's heads that have been destroying the planet with great intention. And in my opinion, from what I've learned from Chris about why am I so focused? Why am I not forgetting things? Why do I get up excited and stay excited until 8:59 and then I better hurry brush my teeth because I'm going down at 9 o'clock? And I'm just like, boom, it's perfect all day. I go like a little choo-choo. That's my new thing. I just feel like a little train. And I put this in my morning coffee without fail, C60 EVO, organic MCT coconut oil. And it's because it's so good. And it's half as strong as the strong stuff, the olive oil, but I put twice as much in, and I am happy camper. So when I want a really good buzz for the day, I'll hit the olive oil because it is super strong. It's also the one that Chris and Robert have used for all of the peer-reviewed tests on ESS60, which is pure C60 at the highest level. And we hold incredible records with our products. And a lot of maybe other people claim that their stuff helps you live 90% longer, but it really is only our product that came from our lab, the only one in the world delivering ESS60, which is made for people and pets. So we've got a breakthrough product that I only know for myself. I had to search Chris out because somebody gave me a sample at a hippie festival, and then somebody else gave me another sample at a hippie festival that I used to be hippie in Colorado. And it was like, oh, C60, wow. And then I was like, oh my God, like, where'd this come from? What is it? And upon any kind of research, you're going to find Chris and Robert's lab in Houston, Texas, since 1991. The molecule won the Nobel Prize in 1996 in Houston also, and they don't know for sure that it came from their lab, the raw sample, but good chance it did come from down the road when their other choice, I think, was Wuhan, China. Maybe not back then, but we were making the good stuff back then for industrial purposes, and now we're the leaders in the industry of people and pets, carbon fullerenes. This stuff's so good. And I give it to all my family. And I do admit to Chris, because they know I get a lot of samples, almost every sample I've given has created a new customer. And it happened again this morning. I saw her order online, just, a kind of distant new family member. But when I see people limping, it's so obvious because I just had 2 hips replaced, and the doctors were like, "Wait a minute, you've been bone on bone 2 years. How were you walking?" And I'm like really proud. you know, this stuff, would you like a sample? And they're like, "Oh, no, we can't. We cut people open." So it's like, well, anybody hurting out their knees, bones, shoulders, hips, until you can get your surgery or, get by, maybe you should try something where you can get by with grace and perhaps start uh, improving every part of your system. So recalibration of body, mind, spirit is what I have experienced personally with the Evo, and everybody I give it to is so grateful. So that's why we're here, is to help your audience get a chance to try something that is effortless. You take it on a spoon or in a beaker if you're in a lab, or however you take it. You just get it in your body. I say before noon is best, and then you just buzz all day with a really graceful energy that gives you a lot of mental focus and endurance.
I love the word recalibration. Used it a lot for myself. I think it's like so a periodical thing that we need to do. Like you say, reintegration as we're integrating with new energies, new knowledge, new frequency, so we can move forward better. And I also wanted to say, by the way, to our audience, as you can see, there's a beautiful thing here, which I think we should reintroduce. Um, we don't live in an echo chamber. As Patty mentioned, her view on the current situation and her excitement about what's happening. You know where I stand. I'm on a little bit of a different standpoint. I see it way more critical, especially looking into the future. But the beautiful thing is that we're talking to each other. We're friends. We're exchanging perspectives, and we're whatever imaginary divide there is, we're building huge bridges. And I think we should do it everywhere on all levels. So I just wanted to share that. I think we should be friends and talk to each other. That's what's important. Chris, you've totally agreed with recalibration. How do we recalibrate our sleep? Because I know that's a very, very important subject to you, and that's something that you want to really help people achieve: better, deeper sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I also like the word recalibration. I think you may have different opinions of what you're trying to accomplish, right? And that's what everybody seems to fight about. But if you have conversation about what you're trying to accomplish, like you're trying to accomplish the same things, you just have different ideas about how that's going to happen or how the current administration might be able to accomplish that. And I think it's important to recalibrate and realize that we have the same goal, right? We want a great country. We want, opportunities. We want freedoms. Like, these are things that we all have in common, and that's a recalibration. Now, it's kind of interesting because when you start thinking about how do we recalibrate, we actually recalibrate every night, right? In our sleep is a recalibration, right? You're building up, and just to share, I'll get a little geeky. There's a book called Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker, an absolutely fascinating, amazing 25 years of research on sleep and the detrimental effects that sleep will have on you if you do not get sleep. I call it the Freddy Krueger of sleep books. You may remember Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Like, he scares you out of your dreams. Well, this Freddy Krueger book will scare you into your dreams, because it's terrifying what happens to you physically, mentally, and emotionally when you don't get sleep. And in fact, at the beginning epilogue of his book, Dr. Walker says, hey, if you were to happen to fall asleep while reading this book, I would take that as a compliment, because the whole point of this book is you should be sleeping. You need your 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep opportunity. You look at how important sleep is to us. Like, every living creature, every living animal actually sleeps. And think about how dangerous this is, right? Like, as we're evolving on the plains of Africa or wherever we're evolving, the worst thing you could possibly do is lay down silently for 8 hours, not pursuing food, not pursuing safety, not pursuing mates. And we do that. Every creature does that. Even dolphins, who need oxygen, air to breathe, right? Half of their brain will sleep at a time. So they've evolved to have a methodology where they can live underwater and then still sleep. That's how important sleep is. And I love one of the points that he makes in his book is that there's a 2 billion person sleep study, that multiple billion people sleep study that we do twice a year. And you're like, that's crazy. It's hard to get 1,000 people in a study, and it's daylight savings time, right? So once a year, we add an hour of sleep. Once a year, we take away an hour of sleep. And the data is really clear. When we add an hour of sleep, heart attacks go down by 21 to 23%. And we remove that hour of sleep, heart attacks go up by 21 to 23%. So a lot of people think, oh, lack of sleep means I need another cup of coffee, or I might be a little cranky, or I might be a little groggy. It actually has physiological impacts. And the reason I've spent so much time thinking about sleep is that our most consistent testimonial with our product is that people take it in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. And so that kind of threw me down this path. Sleep is that recalibration. And yeah, I mean, I could talk about the molecule, but that's the groundwork of how important sleep is, and why we believe C60 EVO has an impact on sleep.
What I find interesting is that this correlation between the two most consistent testimonials, better focus and energy during the day and better sleep at night, it sounds like a contradiction, right?
Mm.
Because people use one thing to stay awake, maybe a substance, caffeine, whatever, energy drinks, and then they might use something else to to kick the melatonin production up and go to sleep. How come that the Evo C60 Evo does both? Like, that's kind of strange.
Yeah, it puts us in an actually a challenging marketing situation, right? So if this is such a great venue, and we're so thankful to you and your audience for listening, because it takes a little while to explain the story and explain the history of the molecule and how we end up here. And by the way, I'll throw this in, right? So we've talked about this ESS60 molecule, again discovered in '85. They won the Nobel Prize for the discovery in '96. They actually thought it would be toxic. They put it in a toxicity study. Instead of being toxic, the test subjects, in this case it was Wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So that's kind of what shoots this into the health space, and really starts driving those testimonials of focus and energy and better sleep. I like to contrast this with a lot of quote unquote sleep aids out there. And by the way, this is mentioned in Dr. Matthew Walker's book, where there's a sleep aid industry, right? And these are, back to allopathic medicine. These are prescription medicines. And what happens, like, this is perfect, back to recalibration. So throughout the day, you have this buildup of a chemical called adenosine. I'll get a little bit more geeky than that. Mitochondria, the powerhouse of every cell, it produces ATP, which is the unit of power that cells use to do their job, whether it's the liver job, heart job, kidney job. And that ATP, the A in ATP, is adenosine. As that adenosine chemical builds up in your system throughout the day, it causes you to desire sleep. So you have your kind of circadian rhythm and this buildup of adenosine. Matthew Walker points out that these quote unquote sleep aids that are prescription medicines from classic allopathic medical practitioners, they relax the pressure. So they reduce that adenosine in your system. So you wake up the next morning feeling like you without the desire for sleep. So imagine 10 days in a row, you wake up and like, I just wish I could get more sleep. And then on that 11th day, you wake up and like, wow, I don't think I need sleep. I feel like I don't need sleep. That's got to feel great. The problem is these are depressants, and they depress or reduce or impair the REM and NREM sleep that we need, the actual healing and restorative sleep that this dangerous habit has existed in animals through the eons, right? Because it does this healing and restorative sleep. So you're kind of like whacking yourself with a hammer, and you're unconscious, but that's not good sleep. And then you wake up and magically the hammer doesn't hurt. I don't know how that's not a good analogy, but you're waking up without the desire for sleep, and you're not getting the REM and NREM.
It's kind of it's a common strategy in allopathic medicine is sort of masquerading something. And the perception is, oh, it's good now. You're just not connected to what's happening anymore. You don't feel it. You don't experience it, but it's still happening.
Yeah, I wish I had gotten my dad off of these prescription sleep aids, because I think that would have a significant and positive impact on him. And then you compare, again, ours is the contrast, right? These quote unquote sleep aids you take right before you sleep, they knock you unconscious like getting hit by a hammer, you don't get the restorative and healing sleep that you need. Ours you take in the morning, right? And we'll just skip the focus and energy. How many things are you aware of that you can take or do in the morning and positively impact sleep, right? We know things like exercise. Well, if you exercise in the morning, that'll positively impact your sleep. If you get exposure to sun and get your circadian rhythm in line with the rising and falling of the sun, that will actually improve your sleep that night. But I'm not aware of anything that you take in the morning and positively impact sleep. So you're very astute, right? Like focus and energy and sleep, very different. And we believe that what's happening is actually in the mitochondria, and that's why we're getting these benefits.
So in other words, like we said, if you optimize, help the body do what it does and does it optimally, you'll get the optimal functions of the body, which is focus, energy during the day, great sleep at night. That's what I love about this product. It seems to just be inserting itself and helping with the natural abilities of the body and really optimizing that and removing sort of the blockages that are in the way, which, that's my perception anyways. I know, Miss Patty, you're one to be very active in the comment sections. You are connecting with audiences. You are with the podcasts. And one of the things that you introduced a few months back, which I think is such a beautiful idea, is you're sort of doing the all year round Christmas thing where you give away 3 bottles during every show from the people who commented on our conversations, which thank you for that. Christmas never stops here at Inspired because of you. So I got from our last show, I got all the people that commented, left a beautiful comment. So we're going to do the drawing. Folks, I hope you win. Okay. First winner is Jackie K. Jackie K, my friend. Simple thing to do, and the instructions are in the video description. Congratulations. You won a bottle of C60 EVO. All you have to do is send an email to hello, the word hello, at C60EVO.com. Put attention to Miss Patty in the subject and let her know your username, your address, and that you are a winner. And they'll be in touch and you'll get your bottle. Congratulations, Jackie. And we have 2 more, Chris. That's exciting. Sorry, that's my favorite part of the show.
I feel like we need one of those fake audience, like, yay!
We should probably do that. F Love CL7MN. Beautiful name.
Yay!
Yay! Congratulations, my friend. Same thing. Just send an email. And the third one for this week. Okay. Again, no bias here. I'm doing the blind draw. And this is Max Monroe 94.
Oh, yay, Max.
Yay, congratulations.
He has commented on my Crop Circle films for 10 years, and now he's commenting on the Evo. I am so glad Max Monroe won. That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Congratulations, y'all. And thank you again, Patty and Chris, for being, for extending Christmas into the year. I think that's very exciting.
But like I said, a lot of times when we give a gift, like when I hand a sample to people that own restaurants, I like to do that. Like the chef, the maitre d', my favorite thing to do. And if next time I go in, they're like, holy crap, that stuff was great. I ordered some. It's like, I'm glad. Like,
So if, for those who didn't win today, by the way, if you leave a comment underneath this video, let us know how your experience was with the EVO, or you haven't had it yet and you would love to have the experience. Just let us know in a comment, leave a beautiful comment, and you'll be in a drawing next time we talk. But Miss Patty, for those who didn't win, where can they go? Where can they find the whole selection of EVO products, and how can they save? Because you're very generous with the discounts for our audience.
Well, we love new people and we love regulars. And so you go to C60 EVO, like evolution.com/inspired channel, which connects him to us. And you'll find a landing page with a lot of products. At the bottom of all those products, if you want to see the entire store, tap see more. and it'll take you to everything that we sell, because C60 EVO apparently works from head to toe. We have a hair formula, we have a lip formula, we have facial serums, and none of our products have been duds. Every single one has been reorder. But the main ones are the edible oils, because you take it in the morning, like the guys said, and you pump like a conscious individual all day long. I personally think the reason I sleep better on Evo is because I wear myself out with all the energy during the day. So if you do it on a physical level or on a mental level, I'm more mental than physical because I'm twice your age, or no, I'm not, but I'm a little older. I just find my brain is on fire from the minute I wake up. But I also get up in the middle of the night, and I've done that since editing my films. It always woke me up at 3:30 in the morning, or 3. And it was like right on the clock, and I'd look and go, oh God, it's so consistent. I just want to sleep. But I'd try and fight like my higher self, or whatever they want to call it, maybe my crazy brain, and I'd get up and edit. So now I once in a while get up, like I sleep hardcore from the minute I'm down. It's the most beautiful, deep, organic sleep. And it's the Evo that keeps me all day until I hit the head, hit my head to the pillow, not hit the head. So I choose to get up and relax, and I'll run my pendulum because I'm so quiet brained at 1 or 2 in the morning. But I also do back to sleep tea, and I do organic traditional medicine tea, or yogi tea. But I find that I don't do pills, I don't do drugs. So a little tea to go back to sleep does wonders for me. But you're right, I wake up feeling kind of heavy after that 4 hours. But it's pretty consistent. I do 4 hour chunks of sleep, and waking up used to bother me, but now it's like I kind of honor it. I call it a Patty party in the middle of the night when it happens. And so, watch a little news, drink a little tea, get down tonight. But going back to discounts, if you sign up for a monthly subscription, we save you 20%. And if you sign up and save the 20% and go, really can't afford it or whatever, you can cancel tomorrow. It's okay. Just get the discount. And no matter what you purchase, use Jean's code that's in the link below to get another 10% off. Most people don't cancel. I just mentioned that you're not obligated up front, so people don't feel like, oh, I have to do that. No, you just get the discount, and then you can do what you choose. But most people don't cancel because they find, wow, that was a really good investment, because now I don't need these 6 other things that I was taking every day, and I didn't really feel the benefits like I did with a spoonful of this. So it's kind of an effortless thing when you compare it to perhaps what you've been taking. I know that I did that for myself. So there's the monthly subscriptions. We have all kinds of gift sets, which is 2 items or more, and we take 15% off on your bundle. And then you can do that and use Jean's code to get another 10% off. We do 25% off if you buy a case. We sell a lot of cases because you can give them to family, friends, whatever, or stash them in a cabinet. And the only things that are limiting about that don't do to the oil is don't put it in a window for direct sunlight, and don't put it next to an open stove so it gets hot. But
Well, which you wouldn't do with any olive oil or any other oil for that matter. So it's
well, we
like,
just like to point it
yeah.
out. And we have the 32-ounce bottle, which is like, I'm always so proud it's the size of my head. And I finally cracked mine open, and I'm busting through it. When friends come over and they're begging, I'm like, okay, I'll pour a little, yeah. So I share it. But the 32 ounce is a really good big family bottle. And then we also go down to little 2-ounce samples, but we only do those in dozen quantity. And those are great. You get a dozen of the little 2-ounce samples, and you can just give them out to everyone if you're generous. And then, a lot of family members will find it to be something that they want to do every day. I think my whole family, my daughter just got married, his whole family is also on the Evo. And that was the call I got this morning. a text where she said, I just ordered a big bottle. And I'm like, I know, because I see every order that goes through and I check the name and where you're from. And Chris thinks I'm a little nutty that way, but I saw Reba McEntire one day and I saw Roseanne Barr one day. And it's like, I like to keep up on who is taking our products.
Sure.
And it's
Sure, of course.
always, yeah, I mean, but for me, it's also about, oh, Norway, oh, Germany. This week was Ireland and Israel. And
You know, those are all countries where we have wonderful viewers in. We have such a beautiful, diverse audience all over the world, which I'm just so thankful for. But yeah, we have friends in Norway, friends in Israel, Ireland, all over the place.
I knew it was you. Yeah. Well, also, your audience really loves you. And I get
And I
tons,
love them, so it's mutual.
but we're also getting lots of Evo love on your channel and on a lot of channels because now that we've been doing shows with you for a while, a lot of your audience has taken the product and they're like, God, thank you. So, Chris and I, a lot of times we get a lot of thank yous from people because their dog is still alive and they thought they had to put it down last year.
We're one
You,
of those. I was just about to say, just this week again, I'm religiously, our dog gets it, at least once a day, but usually the older one gets it twice. And Christine, my wife, has been doing some heavy Pilates workouts over the last few days, and I just, said, just take a double dose. You'll see the difference, and she does. Like it's visible and feelable. So those are just, just e- actually so easy. They're so easy, those things to do, and they have such a huge impact. So
it's,
yeah,
it's preventative. It's not like after the fact that we say take it. Like if you know you're going to do a triathlon, double up your Evo. If you feel that tickle in your throat and you know you're getting sick, double up your Evo. We didn't even mention that it's 172 times more powerful than vitamin C as an antioxidant. And it's a macronutrient rather than micro, like a lot of other nutrients, so it can get into places that vitamin C can't. It's very effective for keeping your immunity up. But for me to have gone 2 years extra, we can't say the inflam word until, all that goes away. But I'll say it's extremely lubricating for people with bone and joint issues, which is probably 50% or more of the people in America because we've been eating foods and drinking and blah, blah, blah. Uh, Food that's laced with different things that have hurt our bone structure. This is daily prevention. And in my opinion, we call it, a miracle molecule for anti aging. But when we hold the longest longevity results on lab animals in history, Chris is modest. He didn't also mention that these rats died without any tumors, which to me is equally important because, needless to say, we've been seeing a lot more of that since the thing in the arm. The one thing I did want to mention at the beginning of the show when you said, what would you change? What a great question. I think you should start every show moving forward with that. What would you change? The one thing that Bobby, that I want to get to him is the data on mercury poisoning in shots. And I think that people really underestimate. I'm allergic to mercury, so I'm vaccine exempt. And it's because I was poisoned by a dentist intentionally 21 years ago, and I'm still dealing with it. Even with all the Evo I take, it is one of the most evil things, but they're still putting it in dog shots and cat shots. And so when you pet
for
your
no
pet
particular reason,
for
by the way.
no
There's
reason.
there's no reason at all. I mean, there is, but no beneficial one.
Well, it's the same benefit as USAID benefit. I mean, it's just one more theft on the
There's no
American
medical
people's.
reason to do it. Let me put it this way: there's no medical, and I think he's aware of that. By the way, I've heard him talk about this many times before. So I just hope that his memory stays intact on all these things, and leads to specific activities.
Imagine a clean world where we
I
don't
do.
have to fight the system of health and human services. Just imagine a world where we don't have to waste anything anymore and where perhaps Patty really meant it, that she's going to somehow herself get Evo to the people of the world. I think we're going to get it out there. It's kind of like, in my opinion, CBD was 15 years ago. It was so breakthrough, and it was almost hush hush. Is it marijuana? No, it's a whole different plant. CBD for helping people with pain. ESS60 is the new breakthrough, and a lot of people haven't heard of it yet, but it makes a difference. Kind of like CBD takes the pain away. ESS60 raises your frequency of your body, mind, spirit, because it cleans the mitochondria in every cell. And the last thing I want to say that I absolutely love, why are we having better mental focus? Because there's more mitochondria in brain cells than anywhere else in the body, as well as the pineal gland. That's why you're so damn clear and smart, John Nolan and Chris Burres. And
Right
I'm
back
going
at
to
you.
take credit. I just feel like scary clear. Like when people throw stuff at me, ain't nowhere it's going to stick, because I'm not doing that. I just don't do it. And I feel like I've got this protective layer with the Evo. I mean, really, really good for the brain. And boy, are we going to need it moving forward.
I love it. And Chris, it seems like Patty's moving in on the science territory here
Yeah.
with you. I can see that she's really moving in on you.
She's doing a great job. I like it. That's fantastic.
I'm a
Well,
good
she had a
learner.
great teacher. It's you taught her. So I want to thank you both for everything you do. Like I always say, to me, everything that happens on the outside, we have very little control over that. We do have control over doing the best we can to be the best possible version of ourselves and inspire and help others to do the same. I feel that's what you two are doing, and that's what the Evo is doing, and I'm very thankful for that. That's true responsibility. And Inspired Tribe, I encourage you to hop over to c60evo.com/inspired channel. Take a look around, feel your way through it, and make a choice when you're ready. And I think you won't regret it. And to everyone who comments, remember, when you leave a beautiful comment, you'll be also entered into the next drawing. Uh, Patty, Chris, as always, it's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me again today. And thank you for your beautiful visions for the future of America's health and the health of the world.
Thank you, John.
Love ya.
Inspired Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll be back with you again very, very soon.